Everyone, welcome to my video on running Java code inside VS Code. So, in my previous videos, I have shared how to write our Java code in both Eclipse and IntelliJ IDEA. In fact, we can even write our Java code in VS Code also, which is one of the best IDEs available in the market. And VS Code, also known as Microsoft Visual Studio Code, is completely free, quite fast, lightweight, and supports Java. In fact, I know so many Java developers who actually use VS Code instead of Eclipse or IntelliJ IDEA. So in this video, we'll see how to write our Java code in VS Code, and before that, we'll download and install VS Code. And yeah, I have made some amazing notes for you so that you can simply refer to them whenever required. And in fact, you don't have to cram anything. Yeah, and I'm currently using Arc browser on my Mac. So let me open Google and search for VS Code download. Okay. Yeah, I'll do Command T. Okay. Let me open Google. Yeah, so I'll search VS Code download. All right, so I'll click on this first link, which is the official site for VS Code. All right, and I'm currently using MacBook Air M3, so I'll simply go with this Apple Silicon option. And if you're having Apple M1 chip and above, you can also go with Apple Silicon version. Or if you're having an Intel based processor, then you can select Intel based chip, which is this option. So if you are quite unsure as to whether you should go with Apple Silicon or Intel chip, so I'll show you a simple option. What you have to do is simply press Command space to open the Spotlight, and then what you have to do is simply open terminal. I'll type terminal. Okay, so let me increase the font size. All right, so what I'll do is I'll simply run this particular command, uname hyphen this m. Okay, and I'll simply press enter. I see this output as ARM64. Okay, so it means I will have to go with the Apple Silicon version. And in case if you are getting this particular output as x86_64, then in that particular case, your Mac is using an older Intel based processor, and you should download the software which is compatible with x86_64 architecture. And I'll mention this command in the video notes also, so that you can refer to it easily. So let me simply open this Apple Silicon option. I'll click on it and it will start downloading my VS Code. Okay, and it's a pretty small software, should take hardly few seconds actually, right? So VS Code has been downloaded successfully. Let me just try to extract it. So this is a downloaded file. I'll double click on it. Okay, so it has extracted my VS Code. Now you can either open VS Code without installing it permanently on your Mac, or you can install it just like any other software. So let's double click on VS Code without installing it. Okay, I'll click on this open. So this is the first look of VS Code. You can choose any theme of your choice. I like this dark theme of VS Code, and I'll simply go with the default thing without changing anything. So let me close this welcome tab. Note that I have not installed VS Code and I've just opened it by clicking on this app. So this option is to quickly try out the application without installing it permanently. But I use VS Code very frequently in order to run JavaScript, Cypress, and even Playwright, where I'm giving my online one-on-one classes. So I'll prefer to install it than just opening it temporarily. And moreover, if by mistake I simply delete VS Code from downloads, it's just gone. So what I'll do is I'll quit VS Code and I'll do a proper installation. Okay. So installing a software on Mac is so easy, and I just love the experience Mac provides. By the way, do you also love Mac just like I do? If yes, please pause this video right now and mention your name and your Mac version in the comments, and I'll give you a shout out for sure. So how do we install VS Code on Mac? Okay, let me just close this earlier VS Code. Okay, it's closed. So what I'll do is I'll simply drag and drop this vscode.app onto my applications folder, and that's it. And it's very simple. And I'm pretty sure I'll convert so many users from Windows to Mac after you realize what an incredible machine your Mac is. Okay, so if I search, yeah, I can see this VS Code inside my applications now. So it is simply installed. On Windows, what we have to do is we have to open it, and we have to do so many next, and so on. In Mac, it's just drag and drop. Simply incredible option. So let's open Launchpad and see. Okay, so I can see VS Code, so which is installed. Okay, now I can either click on the VS Code app here, or the fastest way to open any application on Mac is using a Spotlight. I'll simply type command and space together. Okay, yeah, command and space. I'll simply type visual. Yeah, I'll simply press enter. Okay, so, and we don't even have to type the complete name. I simply type visual and press enter, and that's it. Okay, again I'll close this welcome screen. I'll maximize it. All right. Now, in order to work with Java, we need to have Java installed on our machine as a prerequisite. In case you haven't downloaded Java yet, I'll strongly recommend you to watch my earlier videos on installing Java, either on Mac or on Windows. I'll post the link of that particular video in the notes. I wish I got such notes when I was learning Java. So, I already have Java installed on my machine. Now, Visual Studio Code does not natively support Java by default. To effectively work with Java in VS Code, you will need to install the Java extension. Okay, and installing an extension in VS Code is very simple. All we have to do is simply click on this extension icon. Okay, see this extensions. All right, let me just zoom in a little. Okay, yeah. So in my case, I can see 3 installed extensions as I've already installed them previously. Now, just type Java and you see the official extension from Microsoft. Okay, so simply click on this extension pack for Java extension. Okay, and we can see this is coming from Microsoft.com. Okay, I'll click on this install button and it will take a few seconds to install. Okay, let us wait. Now, I see the uninstall button, which means the extension is now installed. Let me close the extension and click on the Explorer tab. This one. Okay, right. So now we have successfully installed VS Code and now we are all set to start coding Java as Java is also installed. Okay, so now I'll demonstrate how to write the Java code in VS Code. And the very first step is to create a folder on our machine. So this is our first step, right? We have to create a new folder. Okay, right. Now, if you look at any developer's desktop, it is often cluttered with countless files and folders, creating a real mess, right? Why does this happen? It's usually because we don't fully understand how to organize our digital workspace efficiently. So in this video, we'll not only explore how to write cleaner code, but we'll also learn the best practices for organizing files on our computer the right way. So we'll start by creating a new folder. Let me go to my downloads. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll go to system, users, Piyush Gupta. Yeah. Okay. So what I'll do is, this is my home directory. Here I'll create a folder, let's say called automation. Okay. Right. So I'll open it. And then inside this folder, I'll create another folder, let's say learn Java. Okay. So I just created a new folder. So in future, if you learn any other tools, for example, Cypress or even Playwright, or if you want to create some JavaScript code, you should store everything inside this automation folder. Why? Because you want to keep your code organized. Okay. So I'll go to my whiteboard again. So this is my first step. I've just created a new folder. So my first step is done. Okay. Now let me go back to VS Code. Okay. And I'll open this folder. So we can either open this folder by clicking on this file, open folder. I'll simply select this folder, which is inside Piyush Gupta. I have this automation folder. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. I select this learn Java, which is the folder that I want to create my project. I'll click on open. Okay. So for the very first time, you might see this particular pop-up, and it says, do you want to trust the authors of the file? Right. And it's just me who created this folder. So I'll simply click on trust the authors and I'll click on this button. Okay. And I'll again close this welcome screen. Okay. Now I'll switch back to my whiteboard and this is my step 3. Okay. So, and what I want to do now is I want to create my Java file with a Java extension. Okay. So now when we'll create a Java file, as per good programming practice, we use a camel case convention. Now, what is camel case? Every new Java file that you create, it should follow the camel case naming convention where the first letter of every word is capitalized. For example, if you want your file to be named as hello world, which is a combination of 2 words, hello and world. So we'll join them together and capitalize the first letter of each word. So H and W is in capital and every Java file has the extension as .java. It's the same thing we did in Eclipse also. I'll show you. Right? So H and W are in capitals, just everything as in small case, and it ends in .java extension. So let me create the same file in VS Code. Okay, I'll switch back to VS Code again. I'll simply click on this plus icon which says click on a new file. And if I go to here, it says new folder. For now, I don't want to create a new folder. I simply want to create a new file. I click on this new file button. Okay, so I'll write this file name as hello world.java, and I can see this icon as J. I'll simply press enter. Okay, can we see Java is activating, and it is also activating a couple of extensions. Okay, I'll close it. Okay, so my first Java file is now created. Okay, so, and I can see the font size is pretty much okay. I can even further zoom in like this. Okay, now what I'll do is, see at the bottom it clearly says Java is ready. It means now our project supports Java language. Okay, so let me switch back to my whiteboard and see what's my fourth step. Now I want to create a Java class inside my file with the same name as file name. Okay, I'll switch back to my VS Code. Okay, now we will create a class inside this file. As I've already mentioned in my previous videos, Java is an object-oriented programming language, and it should have a class where we will write our code. Okay, so let me go back to Eclipse and see. Now every Java class has these three things: public, class, and the name of the class. Okay, and don't try to understand it for now. If some things are not really clear, that's okay. Just remember that it is there at the very beginning. Public is there, class is there, and whatever name that we want to provide, this is the name of the class, and in camel case. Okay, so this is my class body. Whatever is inside these brackets is inside my class body, and you will get an error if you try to create a different class name that doesn't match the file name. So this is my class name, and it should match with the Java class name also. Okay, switch back to VS Code again. So let's type a class, and so we see this particular option. I'll see public, class, hello world, same name as my file name. Okay, I'll do this. Okay, so this is my empty skeleton. All right, now sometimes we don't even have to type this complete Java code, and VS Code is quite excellent, and I'll show you. Right, so what I'll do is, now I want to show you the fifth step, and that is I've just created a Java class inside my file. Okay, so my last step is I want to create a main method inside the Java class, which is the entry point of my Java program. Okay, let me switch back to VS Code again. So simply type m main. Okay, and we can see VS Code has given us this option, so we don't have to type the complete syntax. I'll simply press the down arrow key. I'll press enter. Okay, so the main method is created automatically by VS Code. Pretty cool, huh? Right, and if you're a beginner, right, and if you're seeing this code for the very first time, it might look a little scary, but trust me, it's not as difficult as it looks for the very first time. As you'll keep on learning, you'll eventually realize that Java is actually quite simple. All you need is little discipline and dedication. So, liking this video so far, I would request you to please pause this video now, like this video, and write down in the comment section, I commit to learning Java. So, this is our code's entry point. Okay, what is my entry point? This main method is my entry point of every Java program. Okay, so in Eclipse and IntelliJ IDEA, we simply use one statement, which is system.out.println, to print a line to the console. Okay, I'll show you. I use this particular line to print whatever I want to print inside my IDE console. Now, console is a view that displays the various types of output generated. Okay, so I'll simply type println inside my VS Code. I don't even have to type the full name. Okay, so I'll simply write println, and it has given me a couple of options, right? I'll select the down arrow key, I'll press enter. Okay, so it has again typed the complete syntax for me. That's the benefit of using an IDE, right? So inside these parentheses, I'll type double quotes, and I'll write my string now. And what is that string? Simple, I can type anything. Let me write hello world with an exclamation. All right, so this println is actually a method which prints whatever message we pass to the console. So we write the code inside the double quotes and within the parentheses. Okay, and finally the semicolon is a must, this semicolon. Okay, so every Java statement must end with the semicolon. It's a rule enforced by Java which says that semicolon means the end of statement. Now let's remove the semicolon and we see something. Okay, so we see this small red line. Okay, and what does it mean? It is an error thrown by Java because we just broke one rule, which is the semicolon. Now let me bring my mouse on this red line and we'll see that we have made some syntax error. Okay, so it clearly says it is a syntax error and I have to insert this semicolon to complete. Okay, right. So let me add the semicolon back and the error is gone. It's because now Java is happy that we are abiding by its rules. And finally, Java code is case sensitive. Okay, so let me just change this class from small c to capital C. Okay, right. Again, we get an error because we are now breaking the syntax rule which says that class has to be in all lowercase letters. So while writing Java code, you have to be very careful about its syntax. So let me fix this error by changing the case back to small c, and that is gone. Okay, so if I try to change it, let's say from hello world, so this hello is O is in small, I'll change it to capital O. Now this hello world doesn't match this. Why? Because this O is in small and this O is in caps, right? This O, right? So again we are breaking the rule. Okay, so I'll fix this error again. I'll simply type hello with O as small. Also notice that there's a small white dot at the top, this one. Okay, it means we have some unsaved changes, as we have been doing a lot of changes but we haven't saved them yet. In Eclipse we have to save the changes before running the code. In IntelliJ IDEA we don't have to save it as it's saved automatically. In VS Code we have to save our changes before running our program, and there's no autosave by default. So to save our code, simply press Command S, which is the equivalent of Control plus S in Windows, to save the code inside any file. Now if I make some more changes, the white code will reappear again and I'll have to save my changes again before running the code. So if this looks annoying to save each time, we can turn on the autosave feature provided by VS Code. Okay, I'll simply click here, I'll press enter. So this dot has come again. Now I'll simply click file, I click on this autosave and this white dot is gone. So now whatever code we are going to type from here, it is going to save it automatically. Okay, now our hello world program is now ready to execute as we are following Java's rules, and there is no error on the screen as we can see. So simply click on this run button, which I can see at the top right, okay, to execute my code. Let me just click it. Okay, so here is my terminal window which shows the output of our program, which is hello world. This is my output. Okay, we can also call the VS Code terminal as our console where we'll see the output of our program. Also notice that VS Code is automatically detected by JDK21, which is here. Okay, so which is the specific Java version that I've installed on my machine. So what has happened is when we executed our code, Java looked for the main method. Okay, let me just lower it. Yeah, so Java looks for this main method, which is the entry point of any Java program, and inside our main method we have just one statement, which is system.out.println. Okay, and once it executes it, it simply ends the program as it has nothing else to execute. Suppose if you have some syntax errors, your code will not run successfully. So let me remove the semicolon again and try to run the program again. Okay, now I'll click on this run button. Okay, I can see this build failed. Okay, let me close it. And even in the terminal, I can see the syntax error which says use this semicolon to complete block. All right. So as per this error, I have an error at this particular line, which is line number 3. It clearly says this is the line 3 which has this particular error. Okay. So let me fix this error by putting this semicolon back, and it has saved automatically again. And automatically it says that no problems have been detected in the workspace, which means it is now ready to execute. Okay. So let me just run this program again. All right. So I can see this output again, which is hello world. Okay, so we have successfully written and executed our hello world program in VS Code. So to summarize, we have now seen how to run Java code in the most popular IDEs like Eclipse, IntelliJ IDEA, and today on VS Code. So VS Code is developed by Microsoft and it's a hugely popular IDE to write your programs, and is open source, fast, lightweight, and supports Java by enabling extension pack for Java by Microsoft. So firstly, we installed Apple Silicon version of VS Code in case we are running Mac M1 and above, and if we have an Intel processor, then we need to install Intel chip version. The prerequisite to run Java code in VS Code is that we need to have Java installed on our machine. And I have already installed the Java's latest LTS version, which is JDK21 as of July 2024. Then we'll create a folder on our machine where we write our Java code. Then we import this particular folder inside VS Code and create a file named helloworld.java in camel casing, where multiple words start with capital letters, and every Java file has a .java extension. Then we created a Java class inside the file with the same name as file name, or else we'll get an error. Then we created the main method inside the Java class, which is the entry point of our Java program. So Java will look for the main method, and whatever code is inside the main method, it will get executed. Also, we have to follow the Java rules or syntax in order to run our program successfully. For example, one of the rules is that every Java statement should end with a semicolon. Also, Java is case sensitive. So if we change a class to capital C, we'll get an error. And in order to print any message to the console, we simply use system.out.println method. Don't worry about this method, we'll cover it later on. And whatever we type inside double quotes, it will be printed to the console upon execution. And finally, we can turn on the VS Code autosave feature in VS Code by simply clicking this file and this autosave. Okay, and you'll find the link of notes inside the description. Okay, so make sure you save those notes and keep them handy with you. And it's totally up to you now which IDE you want to use. You can run the same code in VS Code or Eclipse or even IntelliJ. And finally, this terminal is looking little cluttered. So what if I want to clear it? All I have to do is simply click here and I'll type clear and I'll press enter, and my terminal is now absolutely clear. So hope you have liked this video. Please like it if you found it valuable. This actually helps this video to rank higher as per the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing for more technical content. And if you're liking my work, please share it on LinkedIn or with your friends, and stay tuned and happy learning. Piyush Gupta, your virtual coach, signing off. Bye-bye.